Okay, we're live. We'll let it breathe just for a second. I know it's late. Most folks got to work tomorrow. Kind of hard to know what to make of what we just saw, but we're going to dive into it because that's what we do. And y'all are sick maniacs just like us. So let's face the firing squad together. Welcome in, everybody. It's the Gut Reaction Mile High Huddle podcast. I'm your host, Chad Jensen. With me, my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him, Zack Kelberman. Zack, if ever there was a time to let the dragon breathe his fire, I think coming off of this ugly we'll call it a 10-7 UG fest. How's that instead of a slugfest? Even though it really was a slugfest, like you could feel the animosity and all the division rivalry stuff was there. It was an UG fest, nevertheless. Your gut reaction to the Broncos getting their 8th win of the season, first team in the NFL to get 8 wins this year.
Yeah, I'll try not to say any bad words. I try not to hurt your ears or Scott's ears or anyone else's ears. That was the first game that the Broncos won, a squeaker, that actually felt like a loss. I've got on here saying a win is a win and we shouldn't apologize for any of them. And there's still some truth in that. But this is a game where I felt the Broncos did not deserve to win, at least on offense. The defense always plays amazing. They have a championship level defense, but they have a JV level offense. I am sick of the poor play calling. I am sick of Bo Nix missing layup passes. I am sick of the poor execution. I am sick of the penalties. I am sick of all of it, from the coaching to the players on down on that side of the ball, Chad. It is bad, and there is no sugarcoating it. We've sugarcoated it for like 3 weeks in a row now. No more. It's bad.
It's very bad. And, I mean, you can point to a couple of guys on the offensive line like Garrett Bowles, Quinn Miners. Otherwise, pretty much everybody on the offense, well, J.K. Dobbins I'll throw in there. But tonight, everybody on the offense sucked, period. Colin jumping in with the super chat and a dear member. Thank you, buddy, saying, I have no words, but thankful for the dub. Exactly. I have a similar message, although I'm much more irritated this time. But it's a similar message that I had when the Broncos hung on to kind of beat the Jets in London, that, hey, don't apologize for a win. Everyone's going to be glad that they got this win when you're going into Arrowhead December and all that stuff. And all that same logic holds true. But how many weeks ago was that, Zach? I mean, we're talking, that was a month ago, basically, in terms of the number of football games, and it's not getting better. And this was a team you're supposed to blow out, right? I mean, this was supposed to be like a Bengals, like a Cowboys, although we expected much more of a dogfight in that Cowboys game than the blowout we got. This one, we expected more of a margin of victory than 3 points.
Yeah, the Broncos were favored. We talked about this on the halftime stream. This isn't just any opponent, Chad. This is your divisional rival. You're facing them for the first time this season. You're at home. It's a primetime game. You want to get the bad taste out of your mouth from the last couple of weeks, at least the Houston game, and that's what you do. That's how you come out. All those 3 and outs, it is bad, brutal.
We've got Chris jumping in with his very generous.
Thank you, Chris. Wow. Thank you.
Gut reaction super chat. It's 10 points times the number of wins. So we've got here an $80 super chat. Thank you, Chris, brother. And thanks for staying up late. Appreciate you, big dog. Seriously, man. We do not take you for granted at all. It says, on to the Chiefs. Click those little thumbs up. That's been his hashtag dating back 6 years. Is that how long it's been? 6 years? Yeah, it's been 6 years, dude. Isn't that wild, Chris? 6 years, dude. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's the takeaway. Let's bury this one in the memory hole. Forget all about it. Try and kind of get our wits about us, heal up a little bit over the next 10 days, and on to the Chiefs.
Thank you so much, Chris. First and foremost, I don't know. I'll speak for myself, Chad. I'm just so tired of memory holding these games. I'm so tired of justifying and rationalizing away the poor offense. It's nice that they're winning. It's nice that they're 8-2, and they should win these games, but they have to be more consistent. And at what point? Now we're 10 weeks into the season. At what point are they going to be more consistent? At what point are they going to put a 4-quarter game together on offense? And this is why some of us wanted the Broncos to make a move for wide receiver help after watching Troy Franklin struggle in that role, the wide receiver 2 role.
I mean, it's just one thing after another tonight. It was like the Keystone Cops. Lady D, we got to see you at halftime. Here she is again with a very generous super chat. One of
Thank you so much,
dear Mount Rushmore superstars and members. She says, hi, Chad, Zach, and Scott, and everyone. This game made me sick. We eked out this win with a prayer and a blessing. Offense cannot play like this against the Chiefs. Still, a win is a win. Love my Broncos. MHH for life. The wins are hard to come by in the league. And here's what I'll say, Zach, is, Pete Carroll, this is the first time we've seen the Broncos face a Pete Carroll coached Raiders team. And that same old physicality, that stinginess, that intensity, you saw it, on defense and early on from the Raiders offense. Eventually the Broncos talent, that deficit that separates the talent on the Broncos roster and the Raiders, basically made the difference. But perhaps what I'm getting at here, Zach, is we shouldn't have been so surprised that it ended up being a Ugg fest like it was, though that's not to excuse Bo Nix and company.
Yeah, again, I'll speak for myself. I was very surprised they came out and looked this bad. Usually it's a Jekyll and Hyde thing where one week the offense looks like crap. The next week they look like world beaters. They looked like crap last week. I thought tonight they would look like world beaters. They were anything but that, Deanna. Thank you so much for your support. I don't know if the Broncos were looking past the Raiders to the Chiefs game, but regardless, there's a lot to clean up and a lot that I'm very dismayed about personally after tonight.
I don't think they'll ever admit that they were, but I think that's really the only thing that can explain how bad it was. And the fact that you got to cut them a little bit of slack. They won in Houston and haven't practiced since. Everything they've done this week was walkthrough. So it's all mental reps, in other words. Sam Bam, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Thank you for the super. Says, hi, guys. A win's a win. All that matters in the end. The mini bye's coming at a good time. I think the Broncos will get a lot of their issues and kinks worked out during the mini bye. 10 days until the Chiefs. Go Broncos, 8-2. I know it feels good. That's the thing we can't lose sight of here, is we expected so much more, but the Broncos are 8-2. The Broncos are 8-2. That's the full number of wins Sean Payton got his first year here. So, hey, let's not miss the forest for the trees.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be 8-3, though, if they play anything near that level against Kansas City next week, mini bye or not. I hope Sean Payton can work the play calling out. I hope Bo Nix can fix the accuracy issues, because I've been, and you have as well, Chad, we all around here are the biggest Bo Nix fans, but you can't just cover your eyes anymore when he has those type of performances. He wasn't helped out by his playmakers, by his coaching, but he needs to be better. Everyone needs to be better.
David Youngkin, thank you, buddy. Was it a defensive battle, or was it a lack of practice, or could it just be the team is tired? Well, I think the team is a little bit tired. They structured their schedule in a way. It's not that they structured it, but when the NFL came to the Broncos about a few options regarding the London game, they opted not to take their bye after the trip across the pond. They wanted to have it later. And it worked out. When we look back on this, I think we'll look back at it being very grateful for the kind of, Zach, the sequence of the games, because you get the 10 days. Basically, you play one game in 24 days. I think that'll eventually serve the Broncos well down the stretch, but doesn't mean they're not tired, Zach. They've played a lot of football. They've traveled a lot entering week 10.
Well, you want to know how this is? I know this excuse is kind of bunk. The same thing with the travel for the Jets game into London. These issues have persisted going back to the preseason. The same things we're griping about, the same things we're complaining about, have been there from the preseason, from week 1, and they haven't been rectified yet. That's what sticks in my craw.
D-Dub, our dear friend and massive Super Chat superstar, jumping in saying, this is horrible. Bo played horrible. The offensive miscues are unbelievable. Don't even want to mention the punter's name. No encouragement from this. Broncos for life, but I'm sick of the incompetence. I feel you, dude. And look, Dale is as supportive and loyal to the Broncos as anybody I've ever met since we've been doing this. But he's also a pragmatist. He also is very wise, Zach. And the fact that he's saying, yeah, we got to win, but what encouragement do you take from this with how horrible the overall product was offensively? I mean, defensively, hey, you held the Raiders to 7 points. Good for you. Single digits, but great job, in other words. But the offense, the special teams, yeah, you got the block punt. That was nice to get a modest special teams win, Zach. Although, did they get points off it? I don't think they did get points. Or did they? No, yeah, they missed that's where the missed field goal was. If memory serves, the 58, 59 yard or whatever it was. But tonight, Zach, last thing I'll say, and I'm serving it back to you. 3 shanked punts from Mr. Who I won't mention him either, D-Dub, and the missed kick. So special teams, once again, taketh more than it giveth.
Yeah, that wind that was circling around Empower Field today was pretty mighty for both teams, and it looked like Crawshaw couldn't overcome it. The special teams has been a disaster all season long, Dale, and Sean Payton can talk about it's not the coaching, but it's obviously the coaching. They didn't look this bad last season. I don't know. Yeah, there's not a lot of encouragement. Again, this feels like a loss, even though they won. The only positive, the only glimmer on offense to me was Pat Bryant.
Guys, we got lots more to get to, but hey, this was a weird win for the Broncos, but football's in full swing, baby. It feels good. And Underdog remains the best place to get in on all the action. You don't want to be on the bench. You want to get into the game. Head over to Underdog, whether you're into basketball, football, hockey, any sport in between. Obviously, we know this is a football podcast, but there's a lot of sports happening right now. Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action, and that's all season long.
That's right. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash.
Guys, it's so much fun playing Underdog. You simply download the app, you plug in our promo code MHuddle, and just have fun winning money while watching football. Again, code MHuddle, use it, and you'll get a chance to score $100 in bonus entries, but you got to play your first $5. So play your first $5, and with that, you get a chance to score $100 in bonus funds. Promo code MHuddle. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next?
Be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Zach, I'm watching some of these. Hey, one sec. Take Naj off just for 1 sec. Scott, I'm going to take. Oh, it already went off. Never mind. Put him back on. I just wanted to make sure the code thing was off. I'm watching these replays on the broadcast still in the post-game show, and it's horrific, the offense the Broncos played today. Naj, legend, our legendary brother. Great to see you. Thank you, buddy. He says 8-2 feels amazing. Penalties still a problem. Inconsistent play calling still a problem. No desire to run. No effort to get Sutton or Ingram involved. Inconsistent special teams. Ugh. Thank goodness for that D. I mean, Zach, the on that one drive in particular, third quarter, the run's working. J.K. Dobbins is doing his thing. You get a 3rd and 1. You're in a moderately long field goal, but still like for Will Lutz, hittable range, like you're somewhere around 53 to 55-yard field goal. What does Sean Payton do? He calls the trick play on 3rd and 1, where it's this behind the line of scrimmage pass to Cortland Sutton, who ostensibly was supposed to run and make a throw down the field. The Raiders sniff it out, blow it up. You end up losing 5 yards, and turn that now into a 58, 59-yard field goal, which Lutz misses. So the play calling is still a problem, to quote Naj.
Yeah, Naj, we've been saying it for months now, at least I have. Sean Payton tries to be the smartest person in the room, and he outsmarts himself a lot of the time. The brutal part about that is, and you're right, Chad, that trick play should never have happened, but that's not even his worst play call in the last 4 weeks. He threw to Garrett Bowles on the 1-yard line when he should have run the ball. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. The galaxy braining, the ego, and I don't know what happens in this situation, but he feels like whatever he calls is going to work. That in itself has to change. But thank you, Naj, because your insights and observations are very poignant.
By the way, I'm telling you, that second pick, that ball was meant for Pat Bryant. I kind of cut Troy Franklin a little bit of slack there, because Pat Bryant, the ball was to him. He's about to catch it, and then all of a sudden it's like his mind goes, oh, wait a minute, this isn't for me. And he kind of alligator arms it, not because he was afraid of getting hit, because you could see brain misfire going, oh snap, I'm not supposed to be the read here. And then of course it flies right by him into Troy Franklin, who wasn't necessarily expecting it, tipped up, intercepted. Zach, that's poor play design. Why do you have two wide receivers coalescing in the same zone where the ball's going? It doesn't make any sense. Ren, hello, Ren. How are you, my friend? Great to see you. Thank you for being a member as well, Doug. Longtime superstar saying penalties were probably the worst part of that win. I mean, dude, charge it to the game. That's been every game this year. Like, penalties are part of the fabric now. That's just like what it is. Drop passes didn't help, and the play calling still sucks, but it's a win. I'll take it. Broncos for life. I did not expect, Ren, that game, and I should have, to be that chippy and that kind of, not chippy, but like that. You could tell the Raiders wanted this one, dude. They played hard. I give them credit. Cam Cottle, I think it's fair to start questioning Bo Nix. This is reminding me of the 2015 Brock Manning. Nix's warts are getting worse with each game, not better. Well, I mean, it's like massive success, low, low, massive success, low, low, massive. It's like very Jekyll and Hyde, Zach. It's very bipolar, right? Because you take it all the way back, for example. I mean, we can go to the Cincinnati game where he's plays very, very well. Then a couple of kind of forgettables. The Broncos keep winning, but then you got the 33-point comeback after a stinker. You got the Cowboys blowout, all that. But it's just been, so what I'm pointing to here, Zach, is that there have been top of the mountain moments that have been impressive and what you expect and hope to see, but way too much time spent dwelling in the lowlands, the depths of the valley.
Yeah, way too much time, Cam, looking like the Tebow offenses of old out there, not the old Peyton Manning offenses, or even the Brock Osweiler of 2015 offenses. It's not sustainable. They're not going to keep winning against better teams if they keep playing this way. I don't know how more we have to say it, how many times and ways we have to say it, but it's continuing on. It's continuing to be a problem.
Both teams, Conga, penalized 11 times for what it's worth. Raiders had 5 yards more of penalty yardage than the Broncos at 83. So, for what it's worth. Taylor Christensen, what's going on, brother? Great to see a superstar and dear member saying, what the frick? I blame the offensive line and receivers. Nix, I swear, was under pressure the entire game. That's true. Can receivers get open and stop dropping the ball? Yeah, that's another thing. This was not, I mean, anytime Max Crosby comes to Denver, you got to worry because he saves his best for Denver, and he has traditionally. But this is a team that was not to be feared, Zach. It's pass rush. And they tonight consistently got pressure on this offensive line with 4 guys. So I'll say that, but one last thing. That being said, Zach, Bo Nix looked uncomfortable, rattled, unpoised from the drop. Why?
I don't know. Too often than not, Chad, he's starting games like that. He looks jittery. He looks uncomfortable. He looks nervous. He looks tentative in the pocket. He's not setting his feet. And that's the Jekyll and Hyde like we've been talking about. And when the bad version of the Broncos comes out, the worst version of Bo Nix comes out. Taylor, we love you. We appreciate you. We love Bo Nix around here. We've defended Bo Nix vehemently around here. You can't really defend Bo Nix tonight. He missed too many easy passes. Even the passes that he completed seemed like a struggle. We talked about it on the halftime stream. He threw a pass to Dobbins in the first half to the flat. Dobbins almost broke his back doing gymnastics trying to get it. He has to put it on the receivers, and we thought accuracy wasn't an issue, but sometimes it really is for Bo.
All right, guys, we're going to do some rapid fire here to make sure we can get to everyone because it's really late, and we know that you guys got to probably work tomorrow. We got our dear friend and superstar and member Flying Anger Pig in the house saying, unfortunately, the excuse a win is a win will be ignored. Bo Nix needs to be benched. He is missing reads and simple throws. Facts are facts every week. Well, in a vacuum, maybe you go, hey, what else does the next guy have to offer? In a vacuum, meaning throwing out every other consideration and historical validity in the way quarterbacks develop and stuff, just basing it on this game, you might go, maybe we should see what Jarrett Stidham can do. But no, absolutely not. That is not reality. No offense to you, my friend. Bo Nix, you gotta weather the storm. You gotta roll with these punches as a franchise. We talked about this at the halftime stream, Zach, and I'm gonna let you talk about this. But Bo Nix, as much as Sean Payton would try to have you believe otherwise, is not a finished product. He's still very much a guy ripening on the vine, and you got to allow him the time to do that. We as fans got to allow him the grace to bump his head a few times. Tonight was bad. if these not so great performances, Zach, were not resulting in wins still. And look,
Right.
yeah, you can point to the defense as the primary tip of the spear for the obvious reasons, but you also have to credit Bo Nix for doing what doing what it takes to get these things stacked in the standings, right? To get these wins done, whether it's the furious Giants comeback and all the other fourth quarter comebacks from this season. So I disagree with you, my friend, Flying Anger Pig. You know I love you. Friends can disagree. Zach.
Yeah, I mean, the Broncos don't always win because of Bo Nix, but they rarely win in spite of Bo Nix. And that's a major detail there. And that's something we saw in the Drew Lock era. That's something we saw in the Russell Wilson era. The couple of the games the Broncos won this season, they wouldn't have without Bo Nix, the Giants, the Texans game. So you can't bench a quarterback when you're 8-2. I understand we're all emotional right now. I understand Bo Nix played one of his worst games as a Bronco, but they're still 8-2 and leading the West.
All right, we got Ted Wonderlick in the house, a dear friend, superstar member, saying, deep exhale. The Raiders have, what does that say? Oh, never beaten Bo Nix. Thank you for the clarification there, Ted. I missed the rest of it, dude. I was hung up on that because my brain was going, wait a minute. Ugly as hell. However, we are 8-2, best record in the NFL, playing nowhere near our best ball. The Broncos still have room to peak. Hashtag MHH for life. Hashtag let's Bo. I like it. I think it's some much needed reality check and wisdom and perspective, some deep thoughts. We need it, Ted. Thank you, bud.
Yeah, thank you for the super, Ted. I just don't know how much more room they have. We're going on week 11 now. You're facing the Kansas City Chiefs. You're getting into the real crux and meat of your schedule. The playoffs are around the corner. At some point, we're going to have to see a 4-quarter effort from the Broncos offense, preferably against a good team.
Right wing nut job jumping in, a dear member, superstar. We're the worst 8-2 team in the history of the NFL. I don't know about that. That's a little hyperbolic, but look, it's not all happenstance here. There is a method to the madness. There are reasons why the Broncos are 8-2. It's not just like, oh, you're pulling excuses out of the hat. You have a great defense, and you have a quarterback who has shown a propensity this season to play his best when the chips were down. This game, perhaps a little bit different in terms of you didn't see that huge outpouring of production in the fourth quarter, Zach, but he still did what he had to do to get that extra field goal, I guess, with a little help from the Broncos defense. And Dondre Tillman, which, by the way, leads the Broncos in interceptions. Cody Dubb, Denver plays down to opponent levels way too much. That they do, Zach, and that's something you talk about quite a lot.
I mean, we talked about that in the Vic Fangio era. We talked about that in the Hackett era and the Vance Joseph era. That's a sign of poor coaching when you don't have your team ready to go against the quality of opponent that you should blow out, like the Raiders, or a quality of opponent that you should at least hang with, like the Colts in week 2 of the Chargers. So, yeah, Sean Payton has a lot to work on beyond just the X's and O's, beyond just the play calling. It's just the overall management, the preparation, the football 101.
Papa Bear in the house. Legend saying, good evening, Broncos country. Hashtag 13. I think he's saying 13-4 plus, right? Or maybe he means 12-5. But either way, we get what you're trying to say. It's going to be a double-digit win season, Zach. And what he's saying here is plus 4 additional postseason wins. You know what that would mean. Thank you, Papa Bear. Diego Alonso in the house. I get it. A win is a win is a win. But Lord, have mercy. Does this offense look bad? Bo has awful decision-making, and he just can't set his feet. Beyond frustrating. Yeah, it's bizarre. It's bizarre, Zach. Like, I don't know what else to say. Tonight was the worst of it. I put a tweet out with about, 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, and I did a little poll. I'm not a guy that likes to do polls on X, and I don't spend very much time at all on Twitter. Like my part here, he's kills it on X. He's a great follow. But I put a little poll out, and the poll, Zach, was worst Bo Nix performance since the Broncos drafted him, and there were 3 options. Tonight versus the Raiders, week 2 of his rookie year versus the Steelers, where he threw the red zone interception. It was a bad game. We were there. And then the third option was you're forgetting one. So overwhelmingly, Zach, and maybe there's some recency bias to this, but Raiders by 86.5%. Week 2 versus the Steelers, 9% of the vote, and then you're forgetting one with 4.5% of the vote. So Bo Nix has scraped the bottom of the barrel, it appears, in his still very young career.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the you're forgetting one could be. I harken back to the Jets game, but I understand that was in the rain last season, so you have to excuse Bo for that. It's a good thing though when we have to rack our brains, Chad, to come up with a disastrous Bo Nix performance. He really hasn't looked that all bad as an NFL pro, but today. Yeah, he didn't set his feet. He looked jittery. He looked uncomfortable. And you saw that even before the game. They showed him on the sideline, Chad. I don't know if you picked up on that or not, but they showed him and he looked tight. He didn't look loose. He didn't look like he was, I don't know, going out and having fun. He didn't look amped up for it. So I don't know. It's definitely beyond frustrating.
Looks like he needs a break, honestly.
Yeah.
And they're going to get one. That's the good news, guys. They're getting one. So, by the way, great one. Thank you. The great one agrees with all that. So appreciate the super chat, big dog. MDH becoming a member. Shout out. Oh, thank you, buddy. Welcome to the manger. We need you. C. Dickens, we need you in the fold as a member on YouTube. He says on super chat, that is, thank you, buddy. People will blame Bo when it's genuinely everyone else on the field that is awful. Well, I really
everyone.
You should exempt Bo Nix from the blame game here. Zach Day says play Stidham to see if Tebow Nix is the problem.
No, it's not just Bo Nix. We talk about this all the time after every game. We talk about it on KK. It's not just one or the other, because even when Bo is setting his feet and making a good throw, Troy Franklin's probably dropping it, or he's not getting a good play call. There's so many different levels of the operation that go to bunk so often than not, and you saw that happen tonight. And when it trickles down from the coaching and the play caller, you see that in the quarterbacking.
All right, genuinely, we're going to do some rapid fire now, okay? James Todd, brother, thank you, pal. Become a member. We need you. 8-2 feels like 4-5. This game shouldn't have been close, and now I got to hear all week how this 8-2 team is a fraud and how our QB is holding us back from what we could be. This is gross. Guys, I wouldn't give it that much thought, to be honest with you. They get 10 days off. It comes at just the nick of time. Let's see what happens against Kansas City, because in the same way, Zach, that the Raiders had their dander up for the Broncos, I think you'll see the Broncos have theirs up for the Chiefs. David, second week in a row that our defense took out a QB. Well, took him out temporarily in this case. Geno Smith did return. Let's not forget. Thank you, David. M. Blacks, it's a dub. Exactly. It is a dub. Elias Bernal, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Become a member. Extremely sloppy, he says. Still, 8-2 is what matters. We are saving our points for the Chiefs. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Hey, when someone, so going back to James Todd, when someone busts your cashews this week about how it's a fraud, 8-2 fraud, say, no, we're saving our points for the Chiefs. Trust. Zebo down in Australia. What's up, big dog? Proven. Broncos country, not a geographic location. It's a state of being, bro. MHH fraternity, there is a similar rivalry in Australia, and no matter where they are, these rivals always play hard when they meet. I do not know all the intricacies, but I like hard-fought matches. Hey, 8-2, that's the number we need to focus on, MHH for life. And yes, I agree with that. Thank you, Zebo, dude, and very generous super chat. Great wisdom and insight. Gene William in the house. Good heavens. I wanted to beat them 100-0, but hey, it's been said, but a win is a win. We need Ingram to step up and Bo to man up. Well said. I'll take a breather and serve it over to you on this, Zach, because, it's just a very dissatisfied feeling everybody has for the most part. Although we're getting some wisdom from Zebo. We've gotten some wisdom from a lot of folks, D-Dub, etc. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Gene, I just wrote about Ingram the other day, and I said the Joker role that he was supposed to have, the only thing that's comical is his lack of usage and his lack of chemistry with Bo Nix. It hasn't gone according to plan, and you can tell they're either not targeting the middle of the field or they're missing their man over the middle of the field, and they have to get that going because Bo needs that safety blanket when he's not just chucking arm punts 50 yards down the field.
No doubt about it. Great to see you, Gene. Shout out to the brace girdles, by the way. Sam Bam, off subject, but what was your take on the Broncos not making any moves at the trade deadline? Haven't watched some of the recent podcasts, been out of town and real busy. Were any trades close? There were rumors that the Broncos were going to make a blockbuster deal on the day of the deadline. Nothing materialized, but I didn't expect it to, honestly. And frankly, I don't really think they need to. Now, tonight makes that seem like a ridiculous statement, but Jalen Waddle, if Waddle's on your team tonight, Zach, does Bo Nix play any better? Probably not. Although I am wondering at this stage, how much are the Broncos actually missing Marvin Mims on offense?
Right. Yeah, I don't know that Jalen Waddle would have run right into Sherfield's man when he was blocking him on that screen, Chad. They're missing that dynamic game breaker, and that's not Troy Franklin. At this point, I'm willing to put Pat Bryant as the long-term wide receiver too, and give him a chance there, because they're trying to force the Franklin ascension. It's just not happening, and it's hurting the offense. But Sam, no trades were really close. The Waddle thing, they checked in on him, but the asking price reportedly was too much. They wanted a first-round pick and then some. You could argue both ways whether the Broncos should have done it. Tonight, Chad, it looked like they could have used that receiving help.
Anyway, there you go, Sam. Thank you, buddy. Rip die. Hard to get excited after that. Oh, well, we won. Yeah, it's going to be a long 10 days, right? A weird 10 days. And that includes for us who cover the team and have to write about what's going on and all that stuff. So it's going to be a weird 10 days. Malachi Smith, what's good, big dog? Become a member, dude. You've been with us for years. We need you as a member, brother. First down, JK is a beast. Second and third down, he dances too much. Bo has to play better, and guys have to catch the ball when it comes their way. 8-2 is 8-2. And yeah, I mean, as you guys know, Scott, he covers the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons on SI. We're Broncos on SI. He's Falcons on SI, and he's going, hey, what's it like to be 8-2? So count your lucky stars. Remember, it could be a heck of a lot worse, boys and girls.
Every inch, Malachi, seemed like a struggle tonight. Even on 3rd and inches,
that's JK what she said. Sorry, I had to do it.
JK got tripped up at the line, and they got no push up front. Credit the Raiders defense. Like you were talking about Pete Carroll, he had his guys up for this game. We talk about preparation and want to. Pete Carroll had his guys in a winning position from an energy and preparation standpoint, but the offensive line got no push. They lost Quinn Miners. They're already without Ben Powers. Just top to bottom, Chad, except for Pat Bryant. The Broncos offense was trash.
Great to see you, Malachi. Chad Beach in the house. Haven't been on here in a while. Well, why? Where you been, bro? Hello, Priest and Broncos country. That was a hard game to watch. Shake my head. Hope the play calling and offense can get better. Broncos for life. MHH for life. Welcome back. It's great to see you, Chad. Joseph in the hizzy. What's going on, big dog? Remember, he says, when Denver had sure-handed receivers like Rod Smith? I do. Those were good days. Jimmy Thielen, what? Throwing down a big boy super chat.
Thank
you,
the
Brace
Jimmy.
Girdle clan. Thielen's part of the Brace Girdle clan. He's basically a Brace Girdle. He's like an adopted Brace Girdle. So, bro, you guys are probably watching it on the big screen and everything at home, enjoying a Thursday night Bronco game and whatnot. So party on. Thank you, buddy. Great to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much for dropping that super, Jimmy. It's good to see you.
Sorry, Scott. Do your thing. George Fox, Bo's footwork was as bad as it could be. If not for our defense, we would have lost this game, and in some way, we should have. Broncos for life, MHH for life, hit the thumbs up. Yeah, dude, the footwork's off the chain bad. Like, it's helter-skelter. Like, Bo Nix got some bad news in his personal life right before he took to the field today or something. Zachary, what's good, dude? We saw you at halftime. Here you are on the postgame. Love it, dude. To be honest, he says, I'm a hardcore Broncos fan. Got the logo tatted on my leg, but I have never wanted another team to win over us until tonight. I'm glad we got the win, but Bo needs to figure something out, and the play calling needs to be figured out as well. Zach.
We're going to just pretend you never said that, Zachary. I understand you're unhappy about how the Broncos offense played, but you were hoping the Raiders beat the Broncos of all teams. We're going to just chalk that up and not take that, or take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, it felt like for sure a game they should have lost, and the biggest one of the year so far.
Hey, the gut reaction is for the irrational. It's here for people to get their hormones out. It's off the cuff. It's from the gut. Just get it out. You'll sleep on it tonight. You'll wake up with post-game clarity. You know what I'm saying? Chris Bell, what's up, dude? Good to see one of our dear members. He says, I wore my Broncos hat to work for the first time this season. Won't do that again. Bad juju. Should have went with my gut and not done it. Isn't it interesting, Zach, the connections the superstitious connections we make as fans? Rello, what's good, dude? Thank you for the super chat. Become a member, dude. We need you in the fold, brother. Great to see you. We also have Carter. Carter throwing down. Says, really will hurt to lose VJ after this year. He's great. Top 5 Broncos coach. Not to sugarcoat, he is a great DC and deserves another head coach chance. I don't disagree. I think he's proven himself now. He proved with this, the third season, he's proved, Zach, that, the success he had year 1, which was a little more hit and miss, the success he had year 2, it's not an anomaly. It's not, you can't just chalk it up to the talent. Vance Joseph, he'll get his second head coaching gig, I think, after this season, but will it work out any different? It'll depend on whether or not where he goes as a quarterback, and probably they won't.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, imagine how good VJ's defense would be if he didn't have Alex Singleton starting, if he had another Dre Greenlaw at inside linebacker. Except for that, the coverage struggles from the inside linebackers, the Broncos defense has looked championship level. I don't want to say 2015 level yet because they were legendary, but they are Super Bowl caliber. That's how good they're playing. So I give VJ a lot of credit. And if he does get that head coaching job, don't forget the Broncos get 2 third-round draft picks.
Also, Ethan becomes a member, dude. Woo! Let's go, brother. Thank you. And guys, as much as some of you are dreading, you're the worst. You guys are not a good 8-2 team, or you guys barely beat the Raiders, and you're like the water cooler tomorrow. Just kick back, because how are there that much sweeter things than going into a Sunday full slate of games, knowing that your team, now 8-2, has banked away another win on Thursday Night Football? Like, kick back and enjoy that. Shannon, thank you for being a member. Thank you for the super chat support and being part of this thing. Seems like Bo is more comfortable with Mims in the mix. That's what I'm saying. Like, I wasn't joking. It sounds dismissive or kind of lighthearted, but I'm going, man, maybe something about Mims not being around has been a lot more impactful here. Like, I don't see it as a coincidence. Last week, one game, I would have said, coincidence. But 2 games in a row, I don't think so.
I think it's that Troy Franklin relies too much on his athleticism and his speed to beat his man, whereas Marvin Mims is more of a technical route runner. He's in the right place in the right time. He has more sure hands, I think, as well, more reliable hands on a down-to-down basis than Troy Franklin. So you might be onto something, Shannon, with that for sure. And thank you for the super chat.
Great to see you. Great to see you, buddy. Tyrone in the house. What's up, bro? Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for being a member. What's up, Chad and Zach? I'm left scratching my head on the offensive side of the ball. Just can't wrap my head around what Peyton is drawing up. I know, dude. It beggars belief. It's hard to understand. Again, I think a lot of it could be, the wounds could be salved if Sean Payton just admitted to himself that Bo Nix is not yet Drew Brees. Let him grow. Create opportunity with the offensive play calls that allow a young quarterback to actually do the growing. Some of that's on Bo too, though. Like today, when he threw that first pick, why didn't he just run? He had a wide open field, and he's an athlete. Go, dude. I got tired of hearing this from the Bronco quarterback room post Peyton Manning, but it was something that actually came from the Peyton Manning room, which is you can't go broke taking a profit. Like, Bo, you went broke, and the profit was on the table, bro.
It seems like Peyton has coached that out of him a little bit, running and using his legs more, and I don't understand it, Tyrone. He's not doing his quarterback a service at all. He's doing him a disservice, but thank you so much for that super.
Rello Coleman's here. Again, we had the same offense in 2015. Maybe. Very, very similar. This is also the first time the Broncos have gotten to 8-2 since 2015. So Grover's in the house, a dear member, saying, holy freaking ugly game, Batman. But I'll take the ugly dub to be 8-2. Worst part, I think that block punt bought Rizzy another week. But we play this week, we play this way against KC. We're toast. MHH for life. Yeah, I mean, Sean Payton said what he said after the Texans game about, if they can't do it, I'll find someone who can. That was obviously perceived as a shot at Darren Rizzi. He did some major damage control the next morning on the conference call. The coaching is great on special teams. I'm talking about the execution, basically. So some mixed messages coming from the Broncos head coach.
if he wasn't best friends with Darren Rizzi, you wonder if he would have fired him by now or after this game, because every single week there's a gaffe on special teams. And yeah, it's nice they had the punt block. They also had a missed field goal. They also had other breakdowns, Chad, that just cannot happen, and it happens. And also the shanked punts by Crawshaw consistently. I understand the win's a factor, but it's every single week.
Rizzi's boy, by the way, right? That was entirely a Rizzi, let's do our new special teams coordinator a solid and let him feel the love from the organization. A guy who purportedly had head coaching opportunities potentially out there, or at least other big time special teams coordinator gigs. He chose to come back with Sean Payton in Denver. Let's throw him a bone, let him choose his punter. And heck, we'll even use one of our draft picks on him. Cullen, what's up, dude? Again, brother, thank you. He says, I'm so sick of everyone calling for Bo's benching. Y'all remember the years 1 through 3 of Josh Allen? Come on. I get he played bad, but have some patience. We're 8-2. I'm with you, dude. I'm not going to say I'm sick of it, because I get what you're saying. I understand it, but I don't share a brain with anyone who is calling for Bo Nix to take a seat. This is your first round pick. This is your guy that, Zach, he came 3 touchdowns today, passing scores, shy of becoming the 7th fastest quarterback to, I think, pass for 50 touchdowns ever. So dial it back. Let him grow.
Yeah, you mentioned that Bo Nix is not Drew Brees yet. Sean Payton has to realize that Bo Nix is probably never going to be Drew Brees. This is not 2011. This is 2025, and you have to design a 2025 offense with Bo Nix, not Drew Brees.
Fox Family Breaks, a dear member and a longtime superstar, saying, glad to get a win. That is all. Division games are so strange, and Thursday Night Football added to that also. What was with the wind this night? Yeah, true. That was weird. And this was something that I kind of dismissed. Several of the guys at MHH, I forget, I'm sorry, I would want to give them credit, but in the Mile High Roundtable yesterday, several guys were like, it's going to be a lot tighter and uglier and grindier of a game than you expect, because it's the Raiders, it's divisional, etc. And I was like, man, the Raiders suck. I don't see that this time. I know what they meant, but I didn't see that. They were right. I was wrong.
Yeah, again, credit to Pete Carroll and the Raiders for being up for this game.
Lady D off the top rope.
Thank
Bam,
you.
like that. Thermonuclear super chat from one of our dear family members saying, Bo needs to be let loose to be himself. The play calling needs to improve. That's on Sean Payton. Receivers, catch the ball. The offense needs to play 4 quarters. It's more coaching issues. They need to be ready for the Chiefs. Side note, your MHH sticker made it on David's beer fridge. Sick. Hashtag MHH for life. That sounds like an honor, and indeed we are.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sienna. Give our best to David, and hope you're able to enjoy the victory, even though it was ugly. It'll have to play better against the Chiefs, as you're saying there. Thank you so much, Sienna.
Yeah, shout out to David for sure. Okay, where are we at? We're 42 minutes. We still got a lot of people waiting, so we rapid fire on. Robert Otteson, dear member, superstar, long time, saying, we will best KC. You heard it here first. Love from Nevada. Indeed, you're the first person I've heard say it, for sure. Like, hey, Broncos will beat the Chiefs. Ralph, the man of the brace girdles. Were it not for Ralph, there would be no brace girdle clan. This is the man right here. We are 8-2 with the best record in the NFL and the biggest dead cap hit ever. I still believe. Think of all the talent running around on the field tonight, Zach, and how much of the salary cap has been tied up on Russell Wilson playing for the Steelers last year and the Giants this year.
Yeah, the Broncos were without PS2. They were without Quinn Miners. Not to make excuses, because this should have been a more comfortable victory. But again, Ralph, as you're saying there, you can't take away the fact the Broncos are 8-2 and they are leading the AFC West division. So Bo, leave on.
Great to see, of course, the brace girdles showing out tonight. Doc JC, thanks, fellas. What's better than 6 in a row? 7, baby. Love the priest Thursday prayer meeting. Dude, right on, brother. Thank you. And yeah, we can call it that. I think the Broncos could use the prayers too a little bit right now, right? Even at 8-2, even with the winning streak, they could use a little bit of, hey, let's get this offense, Zach, to turn a corner.
Yeah, thanks for that, James.
There. He answers the bell. C. Dickens becomes a YouTube member. What I'm talking about, brother. Also, Victor becomes a member. Answer the bell. What more can we ask for? Nothing. Love you. Henry in the house. Great to have you. Thank you. Welcome. He says it's hard to win in the playoffs if you play like this. I get we won, but you can't keep playing like this or it'll be one and done in the playoffs. Yeah, and there is a valid point when people say the Broncos haven't beaten anybody yet with a winning record. Well, they have. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles. But outside of that, Zach, they haven't. And that was a long time ago, and it took a pretty strong fourth quarter comeback to realize that. So his point, I think, and welcome, Henry, thank you, bud, is a salient one.
On the flip side, though, as we saw this season, when the Broncos do play at their best on offense, they can hang with anyone, playoffs or regular season. So we have to hope that the light bulb just flips on and it stays on. That's what we have to hope for.
Naj with Super Chat number 2 tonight. Thank you, brother. He says, our two best drives were JK heavy and the 4-minute drive to close the game. That's the key to success. Peyton needs to stop trying to make Nix Drew Brees. 9 targets for Franklin. Why? You wonder, right? Because tonight, exactly. So Troy Franklin doubled the next highest guy, which was basically Ingram at 5, Sutton at 4, and even Franklin caught 5 for 40 yards and a touchdown, and both picks were basically targets on Franklin. Why?
You talk about it all the time, and I think it's true. Sean Payton is forcing this Troy Franklin ascension, this breakout. I don't know if because they don't want to, they want to go cheaper on and the receiving core, or because he knows Bo Nix from his college days, but it's not working out. They're putting too much on Troy's plate, and he's not that reliable wide receiver too just yet.
Not yet, man. But by the way, Ethan, who threw down earlier, became a member. Here he is again, and we know DWI guys by Ethan, but we haven't seen him for a minute. And so it's a different handle. It's actually DWI guys in the house, dude. Legendary, mythical superstar here at MHH. And he says 2015 all over again, brothers. Yeah, it kind of feels that way. And it's great to have you back, dude. Hope you've been well.
All it took was the Broncos rattling off 6 straight wins and the Broncos being 8-2. Good to see you, Ethan. Hope you're doing well and enjoying the victory tonight as well you could anyway.
No doubt about it, dude. Welcome back, brother. Hope to see more of you, and thank you for the support, big dog. Victor Espinoza, a member. A dub is a dub. Been a while, fellas. Hope all is well. MHH for life. Yes, all is well, and it's good to have you in the house. And by the way, Papa Bear clarifying, 13-4 plus. Thank you for that. We got your back. You know this, Papa Bear. You legend. Boot Boy, Chaos Josh. We saw him at halftime. Here he is again. A great member of the community. Says a dub is a dub, but geez, it's my fault though. I got sick 2 days ago, and their play made us sick. LOL. 8-2. Let's go. Let's go. Beat the Chiefs. Yes. 10 days to get this demon exercised. This Raiders game, like get it out of the system. Focus on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, Zach.
Yeah, I thought having a short week after Houston would benefit the Broncos, but maybe having a longer week now will benefit the Broncos going into the Kansas City game. Thank you, Josh.
Malachi becomes a member, answering the bell as well. Let's go, dude. Sentinel Supreme becomes a member, another legendary Super Chat superstar. And here he is on Super Chat saying, all I got to say is woof on that game. Got to experience it live for my second ever game. Well, you got the dub, though. I said right before Tillman's pick, we need an interception right now, and I spoke it into existence. I said the same thing on X, dude. 8-2, baby. Go Broncos. Happy for you. Hey, weird game. A lot of boos, a lot of kind of just weird energy in the stadium for obvious reasons, but you got to walk out of there with the victory, Sentinel Supreme, and the team is 8-2.
Yeah, thank you for that, Sentinel. Your last sentence is the most important there. 8-2, baby.
And Gene William jumping in again to say Franklin couldn't catch a cold if he tried. I know, dude. It's weird. It's weird. But even that touchdown, then you go, well, wait a minute. How does he catch that one? Anyway, Machiavelli, the GOAT's in the house. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Bo has thrown a touchdown pass in 18 straight regular season games and 1 playoff game. For 40 passing touchdowns over that span, keep your heads up, Broncos country. Yeah, he had a chance to make even more history today, but it was just not his night. Chris Parr, good to see you, bud. Happy for a win, but the play calling on offense is baffling. 3rd and 1 in field goal range, and they gave it to Sutton to pass. I know we mentioned that earlier. By the way, from Australia, you and several other members of the community, including Zebo tonight from Oz. Great to see you. The Ronks in the house. Good late night, Chad and Zach on the MHH podcast. Gut reaction. Go Bo Broncos. Thank you, buddy. Good to see the Ronk. And Zach, with that, I think let's kind of boil down our thoughts. Jimmy becomes a member. Welcome, dude. See, now, blood is thicker than water indeed, right? You're in the family. You married in, dog. Good to have you. But Zach, what are your parting thoughts? And we'll wind this episode down.
It's more of the same that we've seen all season. Sean Payton, let's start with him. The play calling is bad. The preparation is bad. The penalties are bad. I don't think he has Bo Nix in the best position. Bo Nix also was bad tonight. Everyone was bad on the offensive side of the ball, maybe except for Pat Bryant and maybe J.K. Dobbins, although that's kind of iffy too. It was just an overall very poor performance. It's more of the same. And now I question whether there'll be a Jekyll and Hyde team, Chad, because they got to go back to being Jekyll, and they're still Hyde for 2 weeks in a row.
Guys, a mile-high salute and a special shout-out to all the great superstars, supporters, and new members helping us keep the lights on. Colin, David Youngkin, Cam Cottle, Taylor Christensen, Flying Anger Pig, the great one, Ted Wunderlich, Right-Wing Nut Job, Chris Hernandez from the Top Rope, Cody Dubb, hello, Ren99, Sam Bam, the Lady D, multiple Top Ropes, Papa Bear multiples, Diego in the house, MDH becoming a member, Dickens with some super chat. David's in the house, James Todd, D-Dub, M. Blex, Elias, Zebo, Naj with multiples, Gene William, Riptide, by the way, Sam Bam with multiples, Malachi Smith also becomes a member, Chad Beach on Facebook, Joseph Linares, Jimmy becomes a member and throws down a super, Chris Bell, Rello, Carter, DWI guys is back in the house, dude. Get ready because he's got phenomenal insights. Shannon Mills, Tyrone Brooks. Let's see. By the way, Rello, multiple supers. Grover, Cullen, multiple supers. Fox Family Breaks, Robert Otteson predicting a Broncos win against the Chiefs. Ralph Bracegirdle, Doc JC, Victor, Henry, Naj multiples, Ethan, D-Dub I mentioned, Victor, I mentioned, let's see, Boot Boy, George, Zachary Hintz, Malachi also becomes a member, Sentinel Supreme also becomes a member, Gene William I mentioned, Lady D, huge super, Machiavelli the GOAT, the Ronk, Chris Parr from Oz, much love and respect, guys. Keep your chin up and, in fact, rejoice. The Broncos are 8-2. Now they get to exhale a little bit, mind their P's and Q's, figure out what's kind of eating Gilbert Grape, and get ready for the Chiefs.
Another tremendous installment, as always, of the Mile High Huddle podcast. If you're not doing so, please follow us on X at the MHH Pod. You can follow the main account on X at Mile High Huddle, Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, and Scott, our producer, at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like we're rocking each and every podcast, check out MHHmerch.com and get you some. If you haven't done so yet, please drop us a like at Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. You can find us on Instagram at Mile_High_Huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please, very important as always that you subscribe, you like, you share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you.
All right, guys. Yep, love you, appreciate you. I'll see the members on Saturday for Broncos Book Club as we continue marching through Son of Bum. Zach and I were back on the mic together Sunday. We'll see you then. Enjoy watching all those games knowing your team's already taking care of business. Love you guys.
Have a great start to your weekend. We will see you Sunday. Take care. And as always, go Broncos.